You doing now?
Well, if you can show us where we're going.
Okay, so we're going into Jambo Cinema. Follow me.
Follow you. Oh.
So this is the first room that people will come into.
Right.
And it's all about a breakout space which will allow people to talk about what they're going to see in the space next door. And there's also going to be the food and the jar and laddus that are going to be served in here for the guests who are coming to my house.
To your house?
To my house.
Oh, and when is this set?
So you are now entering my living room in the 1980s.
In the 1980s?
Come through. And much of what you'll see here, some of it's from my house that's been in storage, and some of it has been sourced from different charity shops and things like that to try and recreate the 1980s type of experience in this room. And a lot of these photographs are family pictures, sort of football trophies, picture of my brother when he was in there. I think they're called the Punjab Rovers, Wolverhampton, family pictures, ornaments, your best tea set, which would have been displayed in the cupboard, only for special guests. And because we're...
How many times did you get that out?
Very rarely, actually. As you can see, it's still brand new.
Still brand new.
And then we've got these sorts of...
Is that a picture of you?
Yes.
Oh.
And this one here as well.
You as well. What happened? You look cute then. And that's your father?
That's my father, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my mum on the end in the pink.
And this was very typical Asian, wasn't it? In the sense that there was always a cupboard, a cabinet, should I say, full of photographs.
This was where a space that was about showing family pride, I think. And so you put your best pictures in here, anything to display. And so I think it was very common in the 1980s to have something like this. And some families might still have a place, we used to call it a showpiece, where you might have it in your living room. And
also the practicalities, assume, in the sense with the space on top, which is always accommodated for things like...
Well, the thing is, in the suitcase, some people used to put their important belongings in there.
Right.
In a carrier bag.
Yeah.
They call it the carrier bag filing system.
The carrier bag filing.
In there.
Right.
And there was always a quilt or, some bedding ready for when you get guests that used to turn up unannounced, because back in those days there wasn't really telephones.
Yeah. And there's always the religious element, isn't there? Because obviously it's showing the respect towards...
Well, in my house particularly, there was a big picture of Harmandir Sahib, the Golden Temple, and God. And so above the fireplace there, we didn't have a mirror. We used to have just pictures of Babaji. Right. So, yeah. And then of course these sofas were the sofas that used to lift up, and so you could put all your... we used to put all our junk in there, actually. Right. There was all sorts of stuff that used to go missing that turns up in there. And that would fold down so that when you have guests in the house, then you could just turn it into a bed and accommodate your family.
Accommodate it. And I like the typical plastic covering on the tables.
Yeah, well, this is about sort of preservation. It's about sort of, families having to work really hard for whatever they acquired and whatever they could buy for themselves, because they were immigrant families and might not have owned their own houses or was still trying to get onto the property market. So it was about preservation, things like this, as well as those people wrapping up the remote controls when the remote controls came out and with plastic wrap around them and stuff like that. So
I noticed there's this electrical installation by Bansal Electricals.
This is the inspiration behind my project, actually. So this is the original shop sign from my father's shop, which he opened in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and it ran in this premises until 1988. And it was an electrical shop, but he also and expanded out into renting out the Indian video films as well.
So I noticed you've got some films.
So these are just a collection of some of them, some very old Indian films.
So what did you have a specific role then while you were at home with these videos and?
Well, I suppose we managed to watch a lot of Indian video films, and that's how I learned how to understand and speak Hindi. It's probably a bit rusty now, but the other thing is that we were sort of involved in the piracy element as well, which.
You're a pirate.
Yes, yeah.
Chief pirate.
As the 8-year-old girl in that
Right.
picture. So this it was very much sort of the business was very much a part of family life as well.
So what is this whole project about? In the sense that obviously we're in a setting of a 1980s period with everything with the setting VHS tapes. I gather that you're going to have some videos which will be showing live film as well. What are you looking to? Are you showcasing this? What are you doing?
So this is a pilot project called Jambo Cinema, and Jambo, because I am African Indian heritage, it means hello. And back in those days, everyone was welcome into the house. So for me, it's about Jambo means welcome well, that means hello, it means welcome. And the cinema is about the home viewing experience that people used to have when they would rent out Indian video films from the shop. So they would gather all their family over the weekend, and if they didn't have a VHS player, they would rent that as well. And so the whole family would pile into one room and just start watching films together and eat together. It's a real communal experience. And so through this particular project, that's what I've recreated here. And on Saturday, we're going to be playing some of the top 1980s films, just snippets of them, as well as me giving a presentation about my link and my heritage with the...
So you're sharing your memory from that period as well?
I'm sharing my memory of the Indian VHS shop that my father owned.
And what do you want to gain out of it? Do you want other people to share their stories, or is it a different...
I want people to get in touch with me, Facebook, Twitter. They can email me, and I'd be happy to receive their memories and incorporate these stories into the bigger installation, which will be recreating the 1980s video shop at the South Bank next year.
So you want memories of them going to a video shop back in the 80s?
Going to the video shop, but also what it was like to have that family experience or the communal viewing experience in the 1980s.
And how can they link up with you or share their stories with you if they're not here tomorrow?
They can
Saturday the 12th or whatever it is
13th.
Of August. 13th of August, yeah.
If they're not here tomorrow at Westbromwich Town Hall in the Mayor's Parlour, then they can get in touch with me on my Facebook page, which is Dawinder Bansal 1, or they can get in touch with me on Twitter and they can message me there, and I'll be happy to respond and take their memories.
That's great, Dawinder. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.